What's up, Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to do an unboxing of a turbocharger, as you might have seen from the title of this video. So this package just arrived from Pulsar Turbo Systems. I will link to the product down below. So this will be an unboxing and a first review, and we will talk a little bit about what you should think about when you're choosing turbo for your project car or your track day car, and why I chose just this one. So let's open the package and get to it. Very nicely packed, thick cardboard. Pulsar Turbo Systems decals. That's nice. I love stickers. As a first impression, it is very well packed. So here we have it. So the first look, this turbo, the machining is super nice and well done. Really good work. So this is a GTX2867r, and it's the second generation turbo. So this is based on the Garrett GTX2867r, and it has dual ball bearings and a billet compressor wheel. So we're quickly gonna take this apart to have a closer look to it, but as of right now it looks really good. All the details of the casting is on point, and it's perfectly oiled up for transportation, so no rust right here. And as I said before, the machining is super nice on this one. So it's awesome to have a ball bearing turbo. So it has super fast response and spools really good. Included in this kit you will get some gaskets for the turbo, and also an oil restrictor, so you get the correct flow for the turbo. So as for my build right here, I have set a goal, and my goal is like around 500 horsepower on E85 and around 650 Newton meters of torque. That is like the optimal power for my needs. I think it's a little bit too much actually for track days, because I think it will spin a lot, but that's also one of the cases why I chose this turbo. It might seem a little bit small nowadays. Everybody is looking for the biggest turbo possible, and I have done this a couple of years of tuning. I have ran some 19T turbos, which is the most common one on around sub tuning, and you could easily push that turbo to around 400 horsepower on E85 and get really good response. So you don't want to go too big of a turbo, then you will just have a super laggy car, and of course in higher speeds it will be a really nice car and a really fun to drive car, but all around you want the power range all the way from the bottom end torque to the top. So this compressor is a little bit bigger than the 19T, quite significant, but still the turbo is pretty small. The shell is not super big, like if you would have gone for like a whole set turbo, which is super common among tuners also, because the turbos are real cheap and they are quite durable, but the technology in those turbos are like Stone Age. So this is some fresh technology. It's based on the Garrett Gen2. So the power band on this turbo is from 275 to 550 horsepower, and I guess that power is based on like regular petrol or gasoline, so maybe 95 or 98 octane. So as I'm running E85, it will push that a little bit further, but for my aim 500 horsepower, it doesn't reach the maximum. It's still a little bit lower, but as that probably is good for the longevity of the turbo, so this will probably last for a while. And why I went with this one instead of a 19T this time also is because this has such a much bigger exhaust housing, and this turbo comes in two configurations when you are running an internal wastegate. So you have the 0.64 and you have the 0.86 AR exhaust housing, and AR stands for area radius, so it's a measurement how much flow or how big the exhaust housing is basically. So the bigger the better, but to some extent you need the perfect match for your application. So if you go really small, the exhaust housing will become the bottleneck. And for a 19T turbo, the biggest you can go, I think, is number 7 on the exhaust housing, or there might be even 8.5 centimeters if you go for like TDO5 turbo or something like that. But anyways, this is a lot bigger, and since we built the big exhaust, the 3.5 inch downpipe and the 3 inch twin pipe exhaust free flowing, then I don't want the turbo to be the bottleneck either. Of course you will have the bottleneck somewhere in the build, but I want to make sure the turbo could push the power that I want, and it's not going to be super crazy. As I said before, 500 horsepower, I think that's very much, even though since the car has like 250 original, you will double that power, so I think that will be real good. And this turbo is so small, so you could basically, I think there will be no problem to get the car through inspection with this turbo on, because you can run all the original covers over it and so on. So we're gonna complete this build together with a nice exhaust manifold, which I have not chosen yet. And as you might have known, if you follow this build, the car is currently on paint or in paint. So as of right now I can't do very much, but this turbo is coming up really soon together with T5 piston and rods. I have been asked a lot of times on Instagram and on YouTube, what engine are you running and what configuration. So it's going to be the Aero engine T7, and we're going to be doing a T7 T5 hybrid build again. I did it in the beginning of my YouTube career, and that video is in Swedish, and a lot of people have been contacting me that they want it in English, and I understand that very much. So that video is coming up shortly. We are also going to go for a little bit bigger injectors, because the 875cc injectors that I'm running as of right now, that's in the engine, their limit will be somewhere around 500, and I want to have a little bit of safety, so I want the injectors to be able to push a little bit more than we are running, so we are safe with that. So let's start with taking this apart and have a look at this beautiful compressor wheel. I have a compressor wheel from a 15T turbo, the turbo that's mounted in all the original 9.5 Aeros, and this little fellow pushes quite good power, so you can get 320 horsepower on E85 with this turbo right here, and compared to this one it's quite a big difference. So I also have the measurements on the 19T turbo. So the small radius or the area up top is called the inducer, and the plate of the compressor wheel is called the exducer. So the inducer of the 19T is 46 millimeters and the exducer of the 19T is 58. So the difference between the 19T and the GT28 is this has 50 millimeter inducer, whilst the 19T has 46. So there's 4 millimeters of difference in the inducer, and the exducer on a 19T is 58 millimeters, and on this one it's 76. So there is quite a big difference in the exducer. So this will definitely push 500 horsepower on E85. I don't have any doubts. And as I said before, the machining and the quality, when you just look at it, it looks amazing. You also has the speed sense support in the compressor housing. and the fitment and finish of the products are just amazing. So if you are thinking about a turbo, I would give Pulsar Turbo a shot. This will of course be on a dyno in the future when we have completed the build. So now the turbo is clocked in like it should sit on the 9.5. So here we have an exhaust manifold, which is the OEM one from the Saab 9.5. And this is basically how the turbo will sit. So the wastegate is on the right position and the outlet from the compressor housing. So the common problem with fitting a bigger turbo on a Saab 9.5 is this right here, to get a good inlet to the turbo, and I will show you that in a future video. And also the outlet, we are going to have to create a flange, and I will go flange and then to a 3-inch V-band clamp, so it's easy to take on and off the downpipe. And I went with an internal wastegate because I don't want to have a lot of issue that external wastegates can cause. In the future, if we want more power, then we might have to go to an external wastegate, but that's a later problem. So as of right now, I'm super happy about how this looks. And I'm really hyped on getting this on the car to see it just spool up. So to be installing the turbo, we need some other stuff as well. And the timing was perfect. So I got the turbo today, this morning. Super quick shipping by FedEx. Really highly recommend it. So to fit the turbo we need something. So I got this kit, and it's from Mambatech, and it's oil and water lines for the turbo, and they are custom made to fit Saab. So this is steel braided lines. Together with all the connections that you can think of. So this will go on the car as well, which will look super amazing. The only thing that I need to figure out now, what bigger injectors I should run. I'm thinking I will run like Bosch 1000cc injectors together with the machined T5 pistons together with the T5 rods. I already got them. So the only thing I'm waiting for right now is the car to be ready from the paint. Put that together. We will do some error testing because the last time we ran the car for a test drive, it wasn't performing 100%. So we will take a look at that first after we have gotten the car. Then it will probably turn into the build series with the T5 T7 hybrid build, the turbo install, dyno tune, and we also need to figure out a good extractor manifold, an exhaust manifold. So we have some things to clear up before this could hit the streets, but we got most of the stuff right now, so all we need is a car. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, comment if you have any questions. I will put some links in the description down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!